Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. Free agency has begun. And all of these teams loaded up. They snagged these players. They grabbed them. They held them close. They signed them to whopping deals. And your Boston Bruins, they were there. They were in the building. And we're there. Yep. We were present and accounted for. We got some depth signings, mostly Providence guys. Yeah. And did kind of exactly what you expected. Yeah, that's basically what happened. I'm not upset, but boy, do I work myself up to the most optimistic peaks. There are moments where I'm just like, oh, what if we clear cap space and we grab Gaudreau? Oh, it didn't even make sense. But here we are. We made one real move, and then we signed a bunch of depth guys who I'm going to tell you the names and what positions they play, but come on. Just a tough day for a Bruins fan. We watched teams below us in the division get better, albeit probably not on our level. If Bergeron and Krejci come back, which I do have an update about that as well. But a tough day. And it usually is in free agency for us because we spend the cap. And there aren't many years where we have a ton of cap space to just grab somebody. I know there's going to be a ton of comments below that are, well, Sweeney put us in this position in the first place. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Jeez, you're okay. You're right. But we've just had that conversation a bunch of times, and I don't really want to have it again. Like, that's all it is. Like, you're not wrong. If you're upset that we couldn't do anything today that's fun and spazazzy, yeah, blame Sweeney, man. Absolutely. You are totally justified to be like, why don't we have more cap space? Fine. But let's talk about what's going on, right? What we actually have to work with. First of all, like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. I haven't said that in videos. Multitude of videos. But we cruise past 1,100 subs. You guys are fucking awesome. It's awesome. Just really, really fun times for me. The Discord's popping off. It's been really fun. Obviously, Twitter is the best place to just hit me up. It's just so easy and convenient. So check that out. I'm just rambling now. Short Shift Pod. All right, we're good. Before I get too deep into it, we're going to do a free agency winners and losers that should be coming out Friday. But it's not going to happen tonight. This is going to be kind of a quicker thing to just talk about Bruins-centric stuff. The big move we made. It was a trade. It was not a free agency signing. We moved Eric Howler and his $2.375 million cap hit to the New Jersey Devils for the RFA unsigned, right? So there still needs to be a qualifying offer and everything like that. Basically the rights to Pavel Xhaka. 1-for-1, straight up. The way it looks right now, what happened is Howler, with his 2.3 mil, is just off the books. And because we haven't signed Xhaka yet, it opened up more cap room for us. Fine. If this was a cap dump, which I don't think it was, but I'm just going to say this first. If this was a cap dump, that was a terrible way to do it. Because I would have packaged Eric Howler and another player that might not be as great. Not that Howler's great, but you know what I'm saying. I would have tried to dump more cap. What we're getting in Xhaka if we re-sign him, he has a $3 million qualifying offer. He's 25 years old, center, shoots left, has played all 3 forward positions, but typically it's left wing or center. He is a good middle six guy who has potential to be a real second line guy. But he's 25, so that potential starts to shrink, right? You started to become what you are. 2020, he had a great season, 35 points in 50 games, but he had some crazy finishing numbers. This past season felt more realistic, albeit a little disappointing, 36 points in 70 games. He is not the greatest forechecker despite his 6'3" frame. He doesn't have, like, the microstats don't suggest he's very good at that. He might not have been utilized in that Devils system very well. I'm not familiar enough with the way that team plays. But I will say he appears to be very good off the rush, creating chances as long as he has a little bit of speed to work with as his line mates. He's not going to be the play driver himself. But really what I'm trying to say is if you put him between Howl and Pasternak, I think his floor is what Howler put together. I think next year he can be the better player. This past year, it's debatable who was better. Obviously, it leans towards Howler just because he had more help. It's debatable. I would still suggest Howler was probably the better player this past season. Howler's also 31, right? Xhaka, we're taking a swing at a younger center who has some potential to be a middle six guy. Couple questions come up about this, though. Where's he playing? Well, let's say Bergeron and Krejci re-sign, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. We probably have him on the left wing in the third line. Probably. That's where I see him. He might be a first-line left winger while Marchand is out. I do think that spot's going to belong to DeBrusk, but it's a chance. The first thing that came to mind, and I'm just spitballing, I'm just speculating, is there a chance that they're shopping Coyle? Now, I think that makes the team worse if you slot in Xhaka for Coyle. I think that makes the team worse. But if they're real desperate to create more cap room down the road, I mean, it's kind of how you do it. You create a couple million because qualifying offer is nowhere close to what Coyle makes. I just think there's a possibility. I know Coyle has the no move. I get all that. I just think that there might have been a conversation about it. If Krejci and Bergeron are re-signing and Xhaka sticks around, then more players are on their way out the door. 100%. We can't fit all of them under the cap right now. That feels obvious to me. I like the trade, though. You moved a little bit cap. If it doesn't work out, it's kind of a weird cap dump, but Howler's not going to be a make or break guy for us, in my opinion at least. It does kind of bum me out because now I'm not really sure what to do with this. We've seen him once in a while. I didn't get to use him all that much. Should have used him more, but sorry, buddy. Anyway, so I like the trade. I do. I think it's a guy with potential. You want to see that come into your doors rather than leave it. Why not, right? The other signings I'm going to rattle through. Here's a quick picture of the signings that we got. But we got A.J. Greer, 25-year-old left wing, only sees NHL time if there are a bunch of injuries, and he better be slotted behind some of these younger guys who are also waiting for a chance. Really good in the AHL, though. Just can't stick in the NHL. Keith Kincaid, depth goalie, kind of a Troy Grosnick replacement because Grossi's out now. 33 years old, just kind of a journeyman there. Daniel Renouf? I know he plays in the NHL this past couple of years. He's had a few games, but man, I don't remember this guy at all. Left shot defenseman, 28, more injury insurance, but he should be behind a plethora of defensemen. Sean, Berglund, Callahan, like he can't be ahead of those guys. He can't be. And then same thing goes for Connor Carrick, right shot defenseman, 28 years old. Lastly, Vinny Lettieri, right shot center, 27, more depth. I mean, none of these guys, all of these are in two-way contracts. All of them should just spend their time in Providence and be brought up in absolute emergencies. That's not even a discussion with these guys. It's just not going to happen. The bigger question mark, which hopefully we have an answer by the time my next video comes out with the winners and losers of free agency, so the Bruins aren't a loser by association. Bergeron. Sweeney does offer a little update saying, feels good, right? We're at a good place, his words, with Bergeron. The overall sense I get from the conversation they had was Bergeron's coming back. Still ironing out details. Still a chance that he goes, you know what, guys, I'm sorry, but I just can't. I get that. Like, look, You will not catch me blaming Bergeron for jack shit. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. So, seems very confident that he's returning. The Krejci conversation is a little different. I didn't expect us to get this far with Krejci, first of all. I didn't even expect this to be a thing. Sweeney says they talked numerous times today. Numerous! And they are working towards common ground. Working towards finding common ground. How are we not at common ground yet? What are you talking about? Seriously, what are you talking about? Like, how do we not know if we're at least common ground? How is the ball not in Krejci's court here? Because it sounds to me from that statement that the ball's going back and forth. And right now, what I need from this front office, if Krejci's coming back or not, I need it in his court. And if he says no, he says no. And we right now should be operating, and I believe the Xhaka acquisition is part of that, we should be operating under the sense that he's not coming back. That's just good management, right? The Bergeron thing is completely different. You can't even, it is what it is, right? But Krejci, you got to operate like he's not coming back. And the ball's got to be in his court at this point. You can't be telling me you haven't even found common ground. What are we doing? That statement worries me, and it makes me think that maybe it's a lot less likely than it seemed leading up to this free agency. I still think it's going to happen at this point just because of how much smoke there's been. But things have changed fast, man. Fuck, look at Gaudreau going to Philly and then the Devils, and now he's going to Columbus. Which is just insane. But that whole conversation is bad, and I hate it. One last thing, he did offer an update with the Pasternak extension, basically saying no number has been put in front of Pasta yet. We're not sure. We're going to be very aggressive trying to re-sign him. I'm glad they're going to be aggressive trying to re-sign him. I want that deal done this summer if possible. Please, for the love of God. That's all there is to that. So it's a basic update. Not a lot happening yet, but I'm really excited about the next video for winners and losers. We're going to talk about a bunch of teams. And then, once the dust settles, we get to do our way too early power rankings again. That was a ton of work last year, but a ton of fun too. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to probably be another 40-minute video. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I feel like some of you guys feel like you have to watch the whole video, and then you see a 40-minute one, and you go, oh, fuck. I gotta find time for this one. It's YouTube. Just pause it. Come back. It's fine. That does it for me, though. I like what the Bruins are doing so far. We didn't have the opportunity to do a lot. I know that's Sweeney's fault, but we're working with what we got right now. I'm not going backwards. I'm going forwards. Go Bees!